The sun hung high over Buckingham Palace, casting golden beams through the ornate gates and onto the cobbled courtyard. Tourists clustered at the front, cameras snapping, voices rising in cheerful chatter. Kids laughed as they pointed at the iconic Queen's Guard, marveling at their stoic presence in brilliant red uniforms and towering bearskin hats. Among the crowd was an elderly woman walking a small, sprightly terrier named Benny. The little dog, full of boundless energy, darted this way and that, sniffing at the feet of curious onlookers. But as fate would have it, Benny slipped his leash. Before anyone could react, the dog squeezed through a narrow gap beneath the gate, his small frame disappearing behind the iron bars. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Benny was now trapped inside the restricted palace grounds, tail wagging excitedly as he explored his new, forbidden playground. But it wasn't safe. Guards were stationed at every corner, and security protocols were strict. For guardsman Ethan Blake, it had started as a routine day. Steeled by years of disciplined training, he stood motionless under the relentless summer sun. But his sharp eyes caught the sudden movement behind the gate. His gaze snapped toward the little dog scurrying dangerously close to the royal steps. The situation, though unusual, was clear: an unauthorized entry regardless of how adorable it looked. People in the crowd began to call out, desperate to catch Benny's attention. The old woman's worried voice quivered in the air. "Benny, come here, please." But Benny was too distracted, nose to the ground, chasing invisible scents. Ethan's instincts sharpened. Rules dictated that guards remain composed, but this wasn't just protocol, it was a living creature in danger. With precise steps, Ethan broke formation. The crowd fell silent, all eyes on the unfolding drama. Ethan advanced carefully, mindful not to startle the dog further. His polished boots clacked softly against the stone path as he closed the distance. Benny, sensing movement, bolted toward a row of ceremonial shrubs. Ethan quickened his pace, calculating Benny's trajectory. In one fluid motion, he crouched and extended his gloved hands toward the frantic terrier. Benny darted left, but Ethan anticipated the move, gently scooping the little dog into his arms. A collective cheer erupted from the crowd. Relief washed over the old woman's face as tears welled in her eyes. With dignified composure, Ethan carried Benny back toward the gate. He passed the dog through the bars into the trembling hands of the grateful owner. "Thank you, oh, thank you," she cried, clutching Benny close. The guard gave a subtle nod before returning to his post, his expression never wavering. As order was restored, the crowd buzzed with excitement. Phones were raised, capturing the heroic moment. And that day, everyone gathered at Buckingham Palace witnessed something unforgettable. A Queen's Guard proving that bravery extends beyond tradition. It protects every soul within their watch, no matter how small. The videos quickly made their way across social media, spreading like wildfire. Within hours, clips of the brave Queen's Guard cradling the tiny dog filled countless feeds, from London to Los Angeles. Headlines began to pop up: Royal Guard's heroic moment, puppy saved at palace. And Buckingham Palace drama, guard steps off duty to rescue dog. Even news anchors couldn't resist sharing the story, their voices brimming with admiration. People from all over the world commented, praising the guard's quick thinking and compassion. "That's true British spirit," one user wrote, while another added, "Finally, a reason to smile today." Back at Buckingham Palace, Guardsman Ethan Blake resumed his post as if nothing had happened. His posture, as disciplined as ever, gave no hint of the moment that had just unfolded. But beneath the stoic exterior, there was a quiet sense of fulfillment. The elderly woman lingered at the gates for a while longer, holding Benny close to her chest. Her eyes, still glistening with gratitude, never left the guard. She wanted to say more, to express just how deeply his actions had touched her. But perhaps, she thought, no words were needed. Sometimes, actions speak loudest of all. A few tourists approached her, asking to pet Benny and take pictures. The little dog, blissfully unaware of the international fame he had just achieved, wagged his tail enthusiastically, basking in the attention. Later that evening, As the sun dipped below the horizon and Buckingham Palace was bathed in twilight, a quiet reflection settled over the scene. For all its grandeur and ceremony, the palace had been the backdrop to a simple yet profound reminder: behind the pageantry and precision, there are people who carry not just duty, but heart. And so, long after the crowd dispersed and the gates stood silent once more, the story of the brave guard and the little terrier lived on, etched in memories, replayed in videos, and cherished as a moment where humanity and tradition walked hand in hand.